Present.
Commissioner Kaler,
Present.
Commissioner Weigand,
Present.
Commissioner Crowley.
Okay, we do have a quorum, and just want to welcome everybody here. Got a good crowd. Let's start off with our Pledge of Allegiance, followed by our invocation by Pastor David Blevins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our precious God, we want to thank you so much for those that are here this morning, those that will be honored, and the honors that they deserve for the work that they've put in. And Lord, we continue to pray for those that continue to do the work for this city and this area, that you would continue to bless them in your work. Father, we're so thankful for everything that comes from you. We thank you so much for the guidance that you give us. We thank you so much for the mercy and the wisdom that these people have as they continue to work here. Father, we love you and we praise you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I do want to say, too, that we appreciate the Ottawa Ministerial Alliance. They had a great gathering for Thanksgiving service at OU this last week, and so thank you for all the pastors involved in that and the good turnout of that event. We will start with the consent agenda. We have the minutes from the November 5th study session, the November 7th regular meeting. Do I have approval for the agenda, or motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
And we have a second on that.
I'll second it.
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We can pass that. We'll go on to public comments.
No one's registered.
None registered. We move on to item number 9. At this time, I'd like to give the commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication they've had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially.
Is it a conflict if we know all these employees?
Oh, wow, I don't know. I think we're okay there, so good to have everybody here. Move on to item number 10.
2018 Employee Service Awards.
Each year, the League of Kansas Municipalities recognizes faithful, continuous service to Kansas communities. This year, the City of Ottawa was proud to recognize 14 employees with a combined total of 290 years of service to Kansas communities. Please join us as we take a moment to thank those who serve our community today and throughout the years. Congratulations, 290 years. So, that's how long has our country been around? Pretty close to that. So anyway, Richard, I'll turn it over to you.
No.
You want me to start with that? All right, we'll start with the 10-year recognition. If you're here, would you please come up here and stand by Richard? We've got some plaques for you. Be Ryan Dickinson, Cheryl Dunn, Chris Raby, and Gabe Sheffield. If you're here, come on up. Uh-oh. Okay. It's going to be you and me in the picture, Richard. All right.
They're out working.
One of these is on his honeymoon. So
Well, that one's excused. Okay. All right, we'll let that one go. And I understand for 15 years we've got Lisa Borges. Lisa's not here either, I guess.
not here.
She's not here. Okay. We'll get these awards to them later, along with their bonus checks, right, Richard? Then also with 20 years. Let's go to 20 years. We've got Kurt Altick, Larry Dixon, Leon Wildeman, and Abe Schmidt. And I know some of you guys are here, so come on up.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Let's shift the whole thing this way.
You sure? Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Great.
Let's give a hand. Next group up, we've got 25 years, Charlotte Newkirk. I saw Charlotte here. Let's give her a hand too. Next, we got 30 years. Got Doug Waterman and Dennis, no, what's, not, I practiced that. Come on up. I practiced all night last night.
I know how to pronounce it. It's just like you spell, right? That's right. It's like,
Okay, thanks. And the big one, the 35 years, Bobby Hawkins and Rick Lyons. Are you here? Come on up. Wow. 35 years. Give them a hand too. Wow. Gives inspiration to the rest of you for the 5 and 10 and 20 years. At like 35, it's still reachable. So hang in there, okay? Stick with us. I guess so much for the group picture afterwards, because we lost some of our firemen, which are on duty, I guess. So.
I don't think we lost anybody that got an award.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, okay, good. So we'll get a group picture with all those that were here for the awards. So let's stick around for that later on. We'll move on to item number 11.
2018 budget amendments.
To set a public hearing for December 5th to consider amendments to the Library Fund and Community Services Fund. This is kind of a cosmetic, oh, go ahead, Red. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hi. Okay, so we have reviewed some budget amendments on Monday for the Library Fund and the Community Services Funds, and I am just here to answer some questions. With the approval of the budget amendments, the notice will publish Saturday the 24th, and the amendments will give us authority to use funds if needed. Okay, so I believe that some of the questions were on the other contractuals.
Right.
And so some of these are covered, that covers the licensing fees for the dog tags, software licensing, that's a yearly thing. And then I do know that they did put some extra in there just in case we did have any year-end unexpected things so that we could pay those if needed.
Okay. And that difference was, I can't remember the increase, it was about $5,000 increase, is that right?
It was around 6.
6,000,
Yeah.
okay.
And then the library fund is just, we had more taxes come in than expected, and so we just want authority to send those funds over.
And like I said, we're obligated to pay that to the library, pass it on to the library, I should say. So, anybody have any questions on any of those?
I think that it's important to note, just as Laurel has said, that it gives them the authority to spend. It doesn't mean that we are spending.
Correct. If we don't need the funds, we will not spend them.
That's good. Okay. Anybody have any more questions on that? If we're okay, we'll put that on for the public hearing on December 5th on the agenda.
How about I make a motion
Let's go ahead and do that.
that we amend the 2018 budget, that we amend the 2018 budget?
Let's do it. Is there a second?
May I ask a question?
Yep.
Are we also setting a hearing for December 5th?
Yes.
Yep.
It's a, yes.
Or-
That's a part of my, yes,
that's
I
the
will
motion.
amend.
That's the
my-
motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'll second to set the hearing.
Very good. Got you there. Okay. Any other
Start
questions
over.
on that? Yeah.
Let's just do a do-over.
We should come to rehearsals. That's no problem. Any other discussion on that? If not, let's take a roll call vote on that, please.
How do you vote, Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Wygant?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaler?
Yes.
Mayor Skidmore?
I vote yes, too. That motion carries. Thank you. And we'll move on to item number 12, a report by the city manager.
I have 4 things.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe 5.
It's going to last 3 hours and 22
Yeah,
minutes,
wait a
right?
minute here.
So, what a good day, what a good day for us to give thanks. I mean, you think about this, 290 years of service. And those are by employees who get up every day to make this city work. And sometimes they are doing it, a lot of times they are doing it when we're asleep, when we're off, when we're enjoying our off. So I think it's important to give them another round of applause for their dedication to our city and making it a great city. So we just came through an election. I think it's important to give thanks. We just came through an election, and it is, democracy works in this country because we don't remove people from office at the point of a bayonet or a tank on the White House lawn. But we do it at the ballot box, and there was, for whatever reason, everybody has a different motivation to get up and vote. But this democracy only stays strong if our citizens exercise their right to vote every time they have that opportunity. So we need to give thanks for that. And then just as we're going into Thanksgiving, we have a lot to give thanks about, and I want to wish our citizens a very happy Thanksgiving and take the time to enjoy with their family and friends and find a moment to give thanks for one thing. And then just kind of wind it up a little history lesson, right? So 55 years ago tomorrow is the day that John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. Some of us remember that. Some of us remember the impact that had on our lives. It is something that does not happen in America very often. But I think as we go through our day tomorrow, as we give thanks, hopefully those of us that were a part of that event, and there were millions of Americans, and millions and billions of people around the world, that we remember in our thoughts and prayers the Kennedy family and the country that suffered because of that. So happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Richard. Thank you. Very good. And of course, everybody, make sure you get a copy of this and pass this out. These are all about these people that have been so honored to serve with. So thank you all for your service. And we'll get a picture later when it's all over, a group picture. How about the report by the commissioners? Sarah?
None at this time.
Okay. Blake?
I'd just like to ask Dennis to come up and kind of give us an update on the Main Street project.
Oh, yeah.
And where the contractor is with the timing of it completing the project and so forth.
You bet. Actually, right at this point in time, we're probably running maybe 3 or 4 days ahead. Street closures are just about over with. End of the day today, 2nd and 3rd Street both should come back open. Main Street hasn't been closed for a while. And we're getting very, very close to having all the line in the ground. They will then finish working on the service lines and just continue that process. Last night we had some vandalism in some concrete that caused us some problems. You know, we're going to have some things like that as we move forward, I suppose. But to all those who think it's funny to play in the concrete, not so. So anyway, we've got to replace some concrete that was vandalized a little bit last night. But moving forward, we're going to be very weather dependent. At this point in time, asphalt plants, especially locally, tend to close this time of year. We do have some options if the weather is above that 50-degree mark or so, that we can haul asphalt for a ways. Everyone has tried to be very diligent. We hear a little bit about the trenches and the lips on the trenches, and we've tried to be pretty diligent to keep those full of rock until the time that we do get the concrete and asphalt in there. That's been a losing battle for the most part. They continue to work at it, but for some reason we're settling pretty drastically as we put that rock in there. So all in all, the project has gone pretty darn well, I think, and we'll keep knocking at it till it's done.
So the big question is, will it be done by the car show next year?
By the car show next year, I hope that this is a kind of fading memory.
What year?
Couldn't help it.
Okay.
That's right. Thanks, Dennis.
You mentioned
That's all I had.
well, the vandalism on the concrete. We're not talking about the graffiti wall at Goppert Team Park, are we? Because that was intentional.
No, no.
Okay, all right.
Wish that they had.
That would have
Yeah,
done that
exactly.
one. All right. All right, just make sure to clarify that. Tom, you have anything?
Yeah, I can't help but mention, most of us attended the ACAN's annual banquet, the Community Action Program, that really was an honor, a lot of honoring of Richard Jackson's 50 years with that program. And I think that's, Richard has been a bulwark in our community wherever I remember him. I'm one of the, probably the few in this room remember him running track at Ottawa University and coming here and making his career helping the poor, maybe in the disadvantaged, and contributing to his community, being a four-term mayor, being connected both to local politics, Topeka, and nationally. So I think Richard's somebody that we should be thankful for, lived and contributed to our community all these years. And at some time, I hope we get the public recognition of all he has done and all his good faith efforts to make life better for our community and for many of those that need some help. So I love Richard Jackson, and he and I have spent some time together, and his heart is good. Wanted to say that.
Very good. Well said, Tom. I just have one report. Nowatzki. Did I do it right? All right.
your next spelling.
Practice all that. So be here for your 35 and I'll get it right. Other things, we of course want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving coming up Thursday, so hope everybody has a safe and prosperous and fun holiday with your family. Mayor's Christmas tree lighting will be the 24th, that's Saturday night at Paley Park at 5:30. I think the switch actually turns on at 6. And of course, our study session the following Monday. If nothing else before the City Commission meeting today, we are adjourned.